Hey everyone, I'm walking on Carpenter Road in Black Rock Forest in Cornwall on Hudson. I just finished doing an invasive plant species survey for there's a horsefly giving me hell. That's why the camera's not steady. I just did that survey for for an internship with the New York, New Jersey Trail Conference. And I'm on, the more West Point side of Black Rock. And if I stop, you might be able to hear the gunfire over at West Point. And of course I stop and they stop. Hear them? I'm sure you can hear that. I grew up in the shadow of West Point, and we lived at the very top of a mountain in a local town, and we shared land basically with West Point and Harriman State Park, so it was very, very wooded up there. What do we got here? It looks like some old bear poop, I think. Nope, it's lichen. False alarm. I did see a small bear print in my travels, though, way back on the trail. So I'm alone, and it's kind of nice to be out on the main road again. But anyhow, back to my story. Yes, we were neighbors with West Point. We heard gunfire all the time. We heard the howitzers going off. We grew up with it. In fact, we were so close at the time, and being a small child, the percussion from the howitzer would go right through you. It wasn't a terrible thing. It was actually pretty cool. And now that I think about it, I kind of miss that. I live about 5-6 miles from the action around Camp Buckner and Camp Natural Bridge now, so I don't feel it quite as strongly. And I got a nice story about that. When the new plebes would come in and they would be sent out on bivouac, a lot of times they would get lost. Well, our house was on top of the mountain, out in the middle of the woods, and they'd stumble across us. This was in the late 60s, maybe 1970. And my brother and I were little kids. My mom would take pity on them. She'd make them bacon and eggs and some toast, give them coffee, and then tell them how to get back to West Point. But under one condition, that they were never to tell their CO that they met her. That way, the CO thought that they completed their mission. I mean, it wasn't really cheating because they still did learn, through my mother's instructions. But what was really nice about it was, and it's still a fact, West Point cadets are just the nicest people you ever wanted to meet. And it's yes, sir, yes, ma'am, all through the day. Now, in the late 60s, my brother and I were very small children. And a lot of these guys, a lot of these cadets, were long away from home, and they missed their younger brothers and sisters. So it was commonplace to be picked up and held and to sit in someone's lap. And they were just the nicest people, and I had such a good experience with West Point because of that, even with all the gunfire. But yeah, it was I think it's a very sweet notion that they were able to find a little bit of home away from home. And it didn't happen a lot. I remember a few times, but I was also very young. I was a toddler, maybe 3-4 years old. But when something that extraordinary happens and you get to meet people who just wander out of the woods, when you live on a mountaintop, it's very memorable. All right, I don't want to make this too long. For those who are interested, I'm heading down Birch Spring Hill to Alec Meadows, and then I'm going to make my way to my car because It is swampish weather out here. It's like a tropical rainforest, and we're supposed to be getting rain sometime around noon, so I don't want to hang out in Black Rock too long or go too far. I'd like to make my circle and get back to my air-conditioned car. I'm sorry, but at my age, I tend to push myself as hard as I can, not as much as I could when I was 30, but it is nice to have little creature comforts. But let me just give you a chance to enjoy the sound of the vireos and the thrushes. This little plant right here is called Heals All. I've also seen it recently called Self-Heal, but the old name is Heals All. And I'm hoping there are some scarlet tanagers out there. I'm not distinguishing the sound, but that's a heck of a sight to see. It's like a ruby with black wings flying through the forest. Beautiful. This is a great hill to ski too on cross-country skis. It's pretty boss. All right, folks, have a great day. I hope you enjoyed your little hike. Bye-bye.